Across much of Europe, faith has faded into the background. Churches stand half empty, traditions are quietly shelved, and sacred songs are replaced by the noise of modern life. Yet in one small corner of the continent, the story is startlingly different. In Croatia, church bells still summon the faithful, processions wind through cobblestone streets, and young believers kneel in open squares with rosaries in hand. This is not a relic of the past. It is a bold present, a flame kept alive through centuries of hardship. From Ottoman sieges to communist repression, from the chaos of war to the uncertainties of democracy, the Catholic faith here has not only survived, it has flourished. What makes Croatia different? To understand the enduring fire of belief in this nation, let's journey through its history, witness its modern revival, and uncover the cultural heartbeat that keeps its faith alive in a secular age. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to support the channel. Across the western half of the continent, the sound of church bells has grown faint. Once filled pews now sit half empty. In the countries like France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, cathedrals stand as stunning architectural relics, admired more for their historical value than for the worship they once inspired. Faith in many European nations has shifted from the public square into the shadows of private life, or faded away entirely. Sociologists call this the secularization of Europe, a cultural drift where religious identity weakens with each generation. For decades, statistics have painted the same picture. Declining mass attendance, fewer vocations, and increasing numbers of young people identifying as religiously unaffiliated. In this landscape, religious holidays are often reduced to cultural events stripped of spiritual meaning, and many historic churches have been repurposed into concert halls, bookstores, or even cafes. Yet there is a place where the bells still ring, not as a faint echo, but as a declaration. Croatia, a small nation of fewer than 4 million people, stands in stark contrast to the broader European trend. Here, faith is not simply preserved. It is alive, vibrant, and publicly celebrated. Nearly 60% of Croatians aged 18. 29 attend religious services at least once a month. An almost unheard-of statistic in modern Europe. Vocations to the priesthood and religious life are growing, not shrinking. Catholic feast days are woven into the rhythm of national life, often accompanied by processions that fill streets with prayer and song. This vitality is not a matter of chance. It is the fruit of a history marked by trial, loss, and unshakable perseverance. Croatia's Catholic faith has never been a mere cultural accessory. It has been a lifeline. Something fought for, hidden when necessary, and passed from generation to generation with care and devotion. It endured Ottoman invasions, survived under the Habsburg Empire, resisted communist repression, and rose from the ashes of a brutal war in the 1990s. What's remarkable today is that Croatia's faith is not just surviving because of older generations. It is thriving because of the young. University students fill morning masses before classes. Teenagers organize public rosaries. Digital platforms are used as mission fields to spread the gospel. Croatia's Catholic vitality is no accident. It is the fruit of centuries of endurance, adaptation, and the deep intertwining of faith with national identity. Shaped by invasions, imperial rule, repression, and war, this faith became more than belief. It was a way to survive, resist, and define the nation. From the Middle Ages to the early modern era, Croatia stood between the Catholic West and the advancing Ottoman Empire, earning the title Antemurale Christianitatis, the bulwark of Christianity. Churches served as fortresses, monasteries safeguarded food, medicine, and culture. Priests, especially Franciscans, preserved the Croatian language, traditions, and faith in the most remote and dangerous regions. The unique glagolitic liturgy showed that Catholicism could embrace local culture without losing universality. Marian devotion, such as the veneration of Our Lady of Shinge after the 1715 siege, became a symbol of divine protection and national unity. Under the Habsburg monarchy, the Church anchored communities amid imperial pressures. Religious orders invested in education, producing leaders grounded in both morality and civic competence. Pilgrimage sites like Maria Bistrica fostered a shared Catholic identity across regions. The 19th century Illyrian movement further strengthened the bond between faith, language, and culture. The 20th century brought new trials. Yugoslavia's political upheavals, World War II, and the communist regime tested the Church severely. Archbishop Alojzije Stepinak's steadfast witness against both fascism and communism made him a moral beacon. Public worship was monitored, religious education restricted, and faith often passed on quietly within families. Yet pilgrimages and Marian devotion endured, with Medjugorje sparking renewed fervor in the 1980s. When Croatia declared independence in 1991, war erupted. The Church became a refuge, offering shelter, sacraments, and humanitarian aid. After the war, it led efforts in rebuilding, restoring churches, reviving public religious life, and inspiring youth engagement. Visits from Pope John Paul II and the beatification of Stepanak affirmed the nation's faith and resilience. By the 21st century, Croatia's Catholicism had emerged as a living tradition, rooted in history, strengthened by suffering, marked by Marian devotion, and deeply woven into community life. Its revival is not nostalgia, but the natural flowering of seeds sown through generations of sacrifice and hope. While much of Europe sees the Church as a relic, in Croatia it remains the heart of society, driven not by the old, but by the young. Here, faith is not merely inherited but actively lived, shared, and celebrated in public. Youth engagement is striking. In cities like Zagreb and Split, students attend early Mass before lectures, swap nightlife for service and parish events, and kneel in public squares praying the rosary. Far from drifting from religion, they draw others in. Online, they use Instagram, podcasts, and YouTube to share scripture, Marian devotion, and catechesis, proving technology can amplify faith rather than weaken it. Marian devotion remains central, with pilgrimages to Maria Bistrica, Sinj, and Medjugorje attracting thousands. These journeys, often on foot, are moments of prayer, reconciliation, and transformation. Public processions, Eucharistic celebrations, and festivals like Mladafest fill streets with hymns and prayer, turning everyday spaces into sacred encounters. The Church's calendar shapes public life. Lent, Advent, and feast days bring community prayer, charity, and celebration. Catholic schools and universities form students to think critically, act ethically, and serve others, producing leaders with clear moral conviction. Pilgrimage tourism also sustains local economies, supporting artisans, inns, and cafes. This revival is not nostalgia, but a confident response to modern needs. Clarity and confusion, community and isolation, and meaning and distraction. Croatia's Catholicism blends ancient tradition with youthful energy, solemn devotion with joyful witness. Here, faith is a torch, lighting not only the nation's path, but offering hope to a continent searching for meaning. Croatia's Catholic revival shines brightly, yet it faces the same pressures reshaping Europe. Secular influence, especially in cities, promotes the idea that faith is private and optional, subtly eroding conviction. Young believers often navigate workplaces and social circles where religion is viewed as restrictive. Another test is sustaining faith beyond university life. Student enthusiasm can fade as careers and family demands grow, so parishes are creating groups and ministries for young professionals and families to stay engaged. Politically, Croatia's EU membership places church teaching on bioethics, education, and family law into debates shaped by secular liberalism. The church must balance moral clarity with credibility across political lines. Internally, the risk of complacency looms. Leaders emphasize ongoing catechesis, quality liturgy, and outreach that speaks to both heart and mind. Urban. Rural divides add complexity, as rural parishes retain tight-knit communities while urban ones struggle with transience. Abroad, Croatians become informal ambassadors of their faith, often defending values they've never had to explain at home. The digital age aids evangelization, but also exposes youth to competing ideologies and the temptation to dilute truth. Economic realities. Low birth rates and emigration drain parishes of young talent, though the diaspora can also spread faith abroad. These challenges, far from discouraging, strengthen Croatia's credibility. Having survived centuries of hardship, the Church sees trials as opportunities to form resilient believers who can live joyfully and faithfully in a distracted age. The task now is to adapt without losing the flame. Ensuring the faith carried for centuries is passed on with courage and conviction. In a Europe searching for identity, community, and meaning, Croatia's Catholic story offers more than national pride. It is proof that faith, deeply rooted in culture, can endure and renew itself through centuries of change. One key lesson is that faith is strongest when woven into daily life. In Croatia, Catholicism shapes the week's rhythm, the year's calendar, and the heart of community life. Parish bells mark the hours, feasts fill the streets, and liturgical seasons are embraced both privately and publicly. Marian devotion is another pillar. Mary is not distant here. She is a mother, protector, and intercessor who has accompanied the nation through war, repression, and hardship. Pilgrimages to Maria Bistrica, Sinj, and Medjugorje unite generations in prayer and resilience. Youth play a leading role, not as a group to bring back, but as the drivers of revival. They fill early masses, organize public rosaries, lead digital evangelization, and integrate faith into every sphere of life. Their leadership shows what is possible when young believers are trusted and equipped. Croatia's history has forged a collective memory that sees faith as a tested truth, not a fragile relic. Its Catholicism is both universal and distinctly Croatian. Fully in communion with Rome, yet deeply tied to local language, culture, and history. The lesson extends far beyond Europe. Revival is possible when the Church invests in community, cultivates personal and communal spirituality, and draws strength from its youngest members. It is not sustained by sentimentality, but by continual renewal, formation, and public witness. Above all, Croatia offers hope. Its light proves that modernity and tradition need not clash, that secularization is not inevitable, and that faith can thrive when lived with conviction and creativity. Though small on the map, Croatia's flame shines across a continent searching for meaning, inviting others to kindle their own. If this inspired you, hit subscribe, drop a like, and share it. Let's spread the flame.